Good morning, everybody. Check 1 2, check 1 2. You guys can hear me. Welcome, Shaniqua. I can see you in the chat. All right. Give me 1 second. Let me do a couple of things here. The scope for today is going to be on consumer arithmetic. Yeah. So we're going to kind of go take a deep dive there. All right. Give me 1 second. I am doing a whole lot of things at the same time, as usual. All right, so let's kind of see. All right, so I think you guys can see everything. So let's go straight into the open board. All right, consumer arithmetic, it's a huge topic, right? So we started it last week, and we're going to kind of continue this week, all right? Okay. Now, last week, what we learned is, in the previous live stream, right, we learned about how to apply fractions and how to apply percentages, yeah? So we learned in summary, quick, right? Fractions are the same thing as a percentage. A percentage is the same thing as a fraction. There's no difference, yeah? How do we apply them? We are going to always, you can't have a half. Remember, you can't have a half. That don't make no sense. You have to have a half of something, yeah? You can't have 25%. You know, what is 25% of what? Yeah, so you have to have 25% of something. So that is kind of tell you that you have to apply a percentage onto a particular number, all right? Okay, so that's the first thing we're going to kind of kick off with in summary, yeah? Now, quick things here now, quick drills I want everybody to realize, right? If you don't know these things, I want you to kind of know them off the top of your head, quick for the exam, yeah? So if I give you 10%, you're supposed to know quickly that a 10 over 100. Percentage means throw it over 100, don't? You're supposed to know it says instantly 0.1, yeah? I need you guys to kind of know these things kind of quick. 20% is what? 20 over 100, right? Or 0.2, quick. 30%, you can keep on going. I think you guys are catching on to the gist or to the pattern, 0.3. Yeah, and 40% all the way until you reach to wherever you want to reach to. These things are very important for your speed when it comes on to the exam. You want to make sure so you're kind of, moving quick. So you kind of want to kind of know these things right off the top. All right. So now we're going to jump into the platform today. So let's kind of see if we can pull up some consumer arithmetic questions. What we want to work on today, let me see if we can pull up some consumer. All right, so we're going to go, this is a demo account. No, I don't want a demo account. All right, we're going to do a new worksheet. Let's do one on consumer. Consumer arithmetic, people. There we go. All right, what we want to work on today? Do we want to work on, let's do simple interest. I got to get that out of the way. I want to do level 1 of that. And then we're going to do, what else we want to do under consumer arithmetic? Let's do, if we do simple, must the compound, I guess, maybe. Let's just do that. No, I want to do something, I want to do things that are very, so I'm going to do high purchase. Let's do higher purchase, right? I want to kind of go through that topic also. Consumer, so you have up to 3 topics you can choose in the platform and work on at any point in time, okay? So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do value added tax. Yeah, don't? That sound good? Yeah, let's do value added tax. We're going to do 2 rounds of it. Let's create a worksheet. All right? Ready, set, go. Boom. Let's kind of see, let's build that worksheet, and then we're going to kind of see what the worksheet asks us to do, and then we can take it from there, all right? Now, key formulas we want to kind of know. Let's kind of go through those real quick, right? So under simple interest equals to PRT all over 100. That's what people study, yeah? So this is under simple interest umbrella, yeah? Simple. You know how to spell it. Interest. Yeah? Now, the principal P stands for what? That's how much money you're putting in. Right? So that's your principal. Yeah? So then the R is for the rate. That's the interest rate that you're putting in. T is for the time. That must be in years. Right? And then I is for your interest. Now, something that I don't think people understand is this rate all over this 100, that's just, so suppose the rate was 10%. Yeah? You don't have to use this version of this formula. You know? There's another version which says just I equals to PRT. But he said this R, him going to be the decimal version. Okay? So what I mean here is, if I say that I is equal to, say for example, I invested $10,000. So let's kind of put the parameters here. I invested $10,000 and then I did it for 5 years and I got a simple interest of 10%. And then I wanted to find out how much interest I earned. Yeah. So under your first formula, this guy here, right? It would have said I equals to 10,000 times 10 all over the time of 5 years. So this is 5 years, right? All over 100. What am I revealing to you here? This 10 over 100 is the same thing as 0.1. So you don't have to make him look like a fraction like this if you don't want to. So then I'm saying to you in formula number 2, you can easily say that I equals to $10,000 times the rate, but you make it a decimal, the decimal version of him. So 10% as a decimal is the same thing as 0.1. So all I put is 0.1 here times the time of 5 years. Okay? So that's what I'm saying here. You're going to get the same answer. So please make sure you understand that there's another way of actually calculating the interest on the simple interest. Yeah? So I hope that makes sense. So I equals to, so it's kind of write them. So I equals to PRT all over 100. Or if you don't want to use that, and you can just use I equal to PRT. Yeah? But this rate needs to be a decimal. This rate needs to be a number. So then if they give you 10%, to use the, well, let me give you a different one. If you use 25%, then under what this version, you're going to put P times 25 times T all over 100. That's supposed to be 100, not 1,000. It's supposed to be 100, right? Right? But under the other one, you'd just simply go straight into I equals to P times 0.25 times the time. Yeah? Both of them are the same equation. That's what I'm saying to you. Some people don't like the fact that this is making it a fraction, and people don't like fractions. So if you don't want to use the fraction, you know what I mean? You have another version you can use. All right. So let's see if we can kind of see what we created here. Boom, 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 boom. We have a whole bunch of stuff here. So let's kind of see how we want to do this. I just created that one. Let's PDF it. All right. So Thomas, let's go do Thomas' question real quick, and then we can take it from there. All right, boom. Let me grab Thomas and grab Richard. And then Thomas and Richard's question. All right, boom. Let's see here. So Thomas invested 7,000. In fact, I just realized, you know what? Let's go one at a time. Let's go one at a time. I don't know why I grabbed both of them at the same time. All right, let's grab this guy here. All right, so let's read it out loud. Thomas invested 7,000 at 4% simple interest per annum. Let's make sure we understand what we just read. When we're dealing with simple interest, it just basically means that if you have some money, yeah, if you have $7,000, if you just keep it to yourself, it will never change. It will always be $7,000. You put it under your mattress, it's always going to be $7,000, right? So the whole point of what you're learning here is that you want to start to invest it. Invest means that the money will either grow or it might lose value. Yeah. So this is the whole essential thing here where we're talking about simple interest, which is where you will make your money grow. Yeah. So we have 4% and per annum means per year. All right. Hope that makes sense. Let me know. Everybody can start calculating if they want to know. All right. But then we're going to start to do it right about now. Do I need a calculator? Hopefully not. Calculate the interest. You notice I'm reading slowly. What did they want me to calculate? The interest in dollars earned after 5 months. So they gave me a time. Now, I think last week we learned if you're given months, convert it into years. To use a simple interest formula, the time must be in years. Write back your guide. So we're going to write part 1. So we're going to say interest equals to, and we're going to use a new version today. We're not going to use the old version. So we're going to use I equal to PRT. Yeah? That's how we're going to use. But this rate, him have to be a decimal. That's the decimal version we want for him. So the interest is going to equal to how much money did I put in? That's the principal. That's 7 grand, right? Times the rate. What did I just say? The rate is 4%, you know. And what we have been learning, 4%, you can change him into a fractional version. Throw him over 100. That's what the percentage sign means. Then we can make him into a decimal version. Dividing by 2 zeros, move the decimal place 2 times to the left. 0.04 is going to be the decimal version, right? So instead of using R over 100, I'm just using the decimal version, 0.04. Time always must be in years. So they gave me in months. So what is my responsibility as a student? I must convert it from months into years. So 5 months, how do I convert that into years? Just divide by 12 and move on. Yeah? So this is the amount of years I'm going to put in there. Let's pull up the calculator. Something tell me say I'm frozen. Yeah, man, see me if I go refresh him again. I don't know what is wrong with him. But every time him always freeze on me. Alright, one second. I don't have my in-person calculator, you know, so I'm gonna use the on-screen calculator. Alright. So if you calculate it already, you guys keep on going. Right, so we're going to do 5 divided by 12. 5 months divided by 12 gives you how much years you have. 0.4166. Now, one thing that we teach here, if you don't want to lose, you see how that have plenty decimal places? One little thing here, if you sometimes students will be like, sir, a 0.4. But then another student would tell me, say, a 0.41. Then another student would tell me 0.416. All I'm going to point out is every time you're not sure, the best way, just use the fractional version of him and be done. Okay? All right? Makes it 10 times more accurate, so you're not losing any decimal places. And I don't want anybody rounding early. You round when the answer reach, that's when you round. All right? So then we're going to kind of do 7,000. 7,000. That's how much I invested. Times, what was it again? 0.04. 0.04. Times, and I'm going to pull back the exact amount of 5 divided by 12 or the fraction. Or I can go and put it in here and put in my fraction 5 over 12. And I'm making sure that my answer is going to be completely accurate. Yeah. So that's 116.66. So that is how much interest I just earned. Yeah, and then they might ask you to round your answers to 2 decimal places, 2 significant figures, whatever the case might be. Yeah, and so then that's how you kind of apply yourself. All right. Now let's keep on going. The total amount in his account after 4 years. Notice they did not ask me for the interest. You know, they asked me for the total amount in the account. So then think about it with me. If Thomas have this amount, he must have that amount later on. But he might have some more on top of it. So the first thing I'm going to do is write back my guide. I equal PRT. I going to equal to 7,000 times the same 0.404. Time now is 4 years. Because it's 4 years I'm investing the money. Yeah? So then good job, Shaniqua. Good job. So then I going to equal to now. Do the multiplying here. So that's 7,000 times 0.04 times 4. That is how much interest he's going to earn on his money. Let's make sure we understand what we write when we're finding it, you know. You have 7 grand and you put it into a credit union. And the credit union say we're going to invest it on a simple interest. So then that means that after 4 years, you have earned 1,120. So then think about it with me now, everybody. It's asking for how much is in the account right now. So obviously, it's not going to just be the 1,120. That's just the interest. So the total amount is going to be how much you had in there originally, plus the interest that them adding on to it. Yeah. So total would equal to 7 grand plus the 1,120, which gives me 8,120 as the total. That's how much money, when you're looking at the bank account, you must see in your account. Yeah. If you see 1,120, you're supposed to be concerned because you put in 7 grand. You shouldn't expect to only see that amount in there. Yeah, so I hope that makes a lot of sense. All right. Now, how long would it take? Let's go to the next one now. How long would it take before your investment earns 3,500? How long is a wording of time? So I'm needing to find the time. What is my investment earning? Earning means that that's the interest on top of it. So then now, what does that mean? So that once again, I write my guide, people. Don't forget to write the guide. They're telling you how much you earned. So they're telling you how much interest you have. So 3,500. My principal is not changing. I still invested 7 grand. My interest rate's not changing because I'm still under the 4% interest rate. But now all I'm doing now is finding my time. Okay? Now this is going to set up for an equation if you think about it. Yeah? So then now 3,500. If you see a number and it's doing something with another number, please go and find out what that is going to give you first. Right? So 7,000 times 0.04 gives me 280. Yeah? So 280 times t. Now, I keep on telling people, 2 times x, you tell me 2x. So why is it when I go to weirder or bigger numbers, people start getting nervous? 280 times t, or that's 280 t. That's all it is. So I don't want nobody get nervous. Yeah? I'm solving for this time. How do we solve equations? How do I teach students at my class, in my camps, in my company? Right? We have to remove the things that I need to get t by himself. What is preventing me from having t by himself? This 280. What is that 280 doing? He is multiplying with the t. So to remove him, I have to go and divide him. What I do to one side, this is the right-hand side of the equal sign, I have to do to the left-hand side too. Right? So there's 280 over here. 0 with a 0. And then now we have 350 is divided by 28. I don't know that in my head. So, what is it again? 350? No, not 350. Yeah, 350 divided by 28. Okay. Yeah, divided by 28. That is 12.5. So this is, remember, time is always in years. So this is 12 and a half years it will take for him to earn 3,500 on his money. Good job, Shaniqua. Yeah? So I hope it's make a lot of sense. Welcome to the new version of simple interest. You can use this version if you want to. You don't have to use a PRT over 100. Just make sure that the rate, though, is expressed in decimal. Yeah? So I hope that makes a lot of sense. All right? Let's go to the next one. Ready, set, go. Boom. All right. Where are we? We're going to go back to the worksheet that we created. All right. We'll have Ricardo. And he has different simple interest things. So let's kind of go through that. 200 Ricardo. Let's do it. Let's knock it out quickly. All right, let's go. Ready, set, go. So we have Ricardo. He needs 85,000 to purchase a car. Oh, 85. He needs an $85,000 loan to purchase a car. Okay, which loan option would allow him to pay the least amount of interest? Least amount means what? What does least amount mean? What does least mean? Yeah? The smallest. So which option would allow him to pay the smallest amount of interest? Now, just general life things here, people. Interest is not your friend when you're borrowing money. So when you borrow money, say for example, you need a down payment on a car. Yeah? Well, no, you're not supposed to actually. Yeah, you're supposed to come up with a down payment. But suppose you need a certain amount of money and you take out a loan. Yeah? And suppose you take out a loan for $250,000 Jamaica. Yeah? Interest is representing almost like a charge that the bank or the credit union are basically charge you in order to get that money right now. So interest is not your friend. The bigger the interest percentage, the more money you're going to pay every month, So make sure you realize the interest in this instance, when you are from the perspective of being the borrower, yeah, it's not going to be your friend. So you're going to want, when you borrow, you're going to want your interest rate to be the lowest possible amount. Yeah? So make sure that there's a little hint there for life. I hope that helps everybody. All right, so now we have a 32-month loan, 10% simple interest, right? So we want to find out how much interest is he going to pay. All right, cool. So then now, right straight into it, right? Interest equals to PRT. Yeah, principal is 85,000. Rate, 10% as a decimal, 0.1. Time, 32 months. That's 32 divided by 12. That is going to give me how much interest is under this option. So let's go straight into it. Yeah, so that is how quickly I want you guys to kind of mash up all of the simple interest problem then. Times 0.1 times, what is it again? 32 over 12, I think it was. Give me, that look right? I guess so, 22,000? All right, 22,666. All right, okay, roughly, yeah? All right, let's go. Ready, set, go. We're going to go, that's option number 1. That's how much interest you'd pay under option number 1. Option number 2 now. Let's kind of go and calculate it. You want to go calculate the rest of them, man. Option number 2 now. That's I equals to, right back your guide. PRT, I equal PRT. Yeah, 85,000. Rate is 0.05. That's 5% as a decimal, 0.05. Time, 20 over 12. And then you go straight into it. So 85,000 times, what did I just say? 0.05 times 20 all over 12 gives me 7,083, roughly. I'm not going to be very precise here, people. You guys be precise. I'm not going to be precise. I'm just getting a rough estimate. I'm kind of just showcasing to you guys how to use simple interest quickly. Yeah, let's go to the third option. Third option says 85,000 is invested for 60 months under 6% simple interest. Let's clean it up a little bit though. So everybody understands how much interest you're going to pay on the option number 1, 22,000. Not looking good. Option 2, 7,000. What do you notice between option 2 and option 1? Who was it? You notice that the bigger the interest, the more you are going to pay back at the end of the day. So that's 10%. That's why that is so high. That's why the 22,000 is so high. Let's go to the 60-month option now. That's going to be I equals to PRT. That's going to equal to 85,000, right, times rate. This as a decimal, 0.06 times the time. That is 60 over 12. Now, I already know that that is 5 years. So when I don't have to put 60 over 12 because I know it's 5 years already. But we're gonna just kind of follow suit like how I did all the others. So 85,000 times what is this? 0.06, right? 0.06 times and then I'm going to put it so you guys see it. No. Oops. That and 60 and that at 12. There we go. Okay, boom. 25,500. So what are you noticing here? Yeah, the higher interest rate gives me a higher amount that I'm paying back. Now, don't get me wrong though. There's also another reason why him high, you know, is because this is also invested for a longer period of time. Okay, right? So I hope everybody's starting to kind of get a feel of the simple interest. If so, we're going to kind of move on from simple interest shortly, right? Let's finish up though. We have one more to do, okay? But I want everybody to make sense of things. Think about it with me, right? Okay? This is roughly 32. What is 32 over 12? What's 32 over 12? 2.6. This is roughly 2.66 years, right? 20 months. What's 20 months? 20 months is roughly 1.66 years. All right? Okay? This is 5 years. I'm going to ask the question, right? So what did we notice here? Who paid the most money? 25,000. Why is he paying the most money? Because he's investing it for the longer period. So that means he's going to pay more interest on the loan. He also has a slightly higher interest rate, you know. But it's just because primarily he's investing it for much, much longer. Yeah? So then now, when we go here now, 2.66 years. Well, let's compare A with B. A paid triple the amount that B paid. Triple. Yeah? So why is he paying triple? Well, he's investing it for one more year extra. but his interest rate is far higher than that one. So that's how I want everybody to kind of start to think, not just follow a formula and plug and play, but actually think about the problem as you go through. All right, let's do the last one, and then we'll kind of move on to another topic, hire purchase. All right, so then now I equals the PRT. Yes, it becomes redundant after a while. That's cool. That's what you want, right? Rate is 10%. So that's 0.1. Time is 54 all over 12. Yeah? Months converted into years. All right? Okay. So 85,000 times 0.1 times, what is this again? 54 over 12. That looks like 38,000. Yeah, 250, I think it was, right? So I hope everybody's starting to get used to, good job Shaniqua. I hope you guys are starting to get used to how to apply the simple interest formula. Yes, what is it? Version 1 is I equals to PRT all over 100. If you don't like fractions, don't use them, right? So this is what? A rate that is expressed as a number. So then if I had 20%, you would have literally put the number 20 here. Yeah, I equals to PRT straight, just that alone. Yeah, and this is expressed as a decimal. Okay, so that means that if you had 20%, it would have been 0.20 you put here, not 20. All right, so make sure you understand how to use the formula. Switching up now, let's go to the next topic. Let's discuss some hire purchase. Yeah, now I don't know about you guys, but not all the time you're going to have all of the money to purchase something, right? So this is the first thing we're going to kind of discuss is hire purchase. Let's do a simple version, and then we'll kind of do a more complicated version after. So we'll discuss what Corey is going on with here, and then we can think about the complicated one, all right? Corey buys a couch and hire purchase. He deposits 30,000. And he paid across 33 months. In the end, he paid 120,000 in total. How much was each investment? Or each installment, each installment, yeah? Now, first of all, what is hire purchase? What is hire purchase, yeah? All it is just a flexible arrangement. So instead of, say for example, something, say for example, you guys wanted, you got your new apartment, yeah? And so you're going to need a couch. You're going to need something to sit down on, right? The couch costs $250,000. Of course, you might have this money and you can pay it off cash up front, no hesitancy, yeah? But more than likely, you might not have all of that money, right? And so what you're gonna want to do is that sometimes stores will put on different flexible arrangements where they're saying, hey, if you can give us 50,000 right now, you can walk out with the couch, yeah? But then you have to then be on the hook for a certain amount of installments until you have paid off the amount that you need to pay off. Now, the only thing, though, that you have to realize is it's not gonna be like, okay, down payment is this, and then first installment is 50,000. So that's, every month you're going to pay a certain amount, yeah? 50,000 again. Third is 50,000 again. Fourth is 50,000 again. Yeah, how much is that? Oh, 250. There we go. All right. Okay. So some people think that it's going to be this number just broken up into pieces. No. Think about it from the store owner's perspective. If him are gonna be flexible with you, him can't just say, me want the same amount like how much another person will pay me up front for. No, man, I forgot put on some interest on top of your installments then. It's like a charge that I'm putting on because I'm being flexible. So if you add up all of these right now, you get 250,000, But him can't logically do that and make and keep it and stay in business. Him have to realize, you are paying at me smaller than another person. So then the flexibility that I'm giving you now, I'm sorry man, I forgot put on an extra $5,000 on every installment now. So that's what is happening there under hire purchase. Yeah. So under hire purchase, typically you are going to, under the flexible arrangement, you're going to be paying more than if you paid it up front, right? So kind of make a note on that. You're always going to be paying more in hire purchase under the flexible arrangement than if you paid it up front with cash. So it's kind of like the store owner say, you know what? A 55 grand you're going to pay every month. First installment. Second installment, same thing, 55 again. He has to give you some charge for that flexibility. All right. So that is what happens in hire purchase, right? Fourth one is 55,000. So we have 455,000 and we have the 50,000. So how much are you going to pay in total now? Let's kind of calculate that. So we have 455,000 plus the initial down payment of 50,000. So that look like 500,000. There we go. So we have 270,000 is what you would be paying the store owner. Yeah, 270,000. So he's adding on 20,000 extra just on interest because you're taking the flexible option. All right. So I hope that's making a lot of sense to everybody. That is the gist of hire purchase. It's giving you a flexible approach. That's all it's doing. Yeah. So Corey buy a couch on hire purchase. His deposit is 30,000 and he paid across 33 months. All right. Now in the end, he paid a total of this amount. How much was each installment? Okay. Now this total, who is he comprised of? He's comprised of the deposit and he's comprised of the installments. That's what he's made up of, you know. Yeah. So then if the total is 120,000 and the deposit is 30,000, everything for CXC, everybody try and form an equation that you can solve for something. So make sure you understand, where did I get this from? The total that I'm going to pay must be the deposit plus how much I'm paying in the installments added up. So then now that would do some maths here. If I'm solving for installments, I must subtract 30,000 here and I must subtract 30,000 here. So that would mean that the installments were $90,000 in total. All installments added up to 90,000. Now remember here, he paid 30 for 33 months. So if I wanted each installment, this is the total installment, you know. If you want to put total, we can put total there too. Yeah? So then if I want each installment is going to be that 90,000 divided by how many months that you're breaking it up around. Yeah? So each installment would have been 90,000 divided by 33, which would give me 90,000 divided by 33. That gives me 2,727. So 2727 point, it look like 2727? Yeah. All 2 sevens going on. So that is going to be how much installment will be. All right. So how that's making sense? So hire purchase is all about, there is a deposit that you're making, and then also the flexible part of it is that you're going to be breaking it up into different amount of installments. All right. So how that makes a lot of sense. Ready, set, boom. What's next? All right. Do we want to do another hire purchase? What do you guys want to do? Let's see. Do you want to do another hire purchase, or do we want to do? I'm gonna mix it up. Because I wanna make sure I do a lot of variety. So we're gonna do value added tax. Yeah, something simulated, a simulated version of things from CXC past papers that you want to kind of pay attention to when you're in the platform. Yeah, so you want to make sure that the variety is what you're exposing yourself to. So the table shows a shopping bill and has some missing information. Yeah. Okay. So it says to calculate all of the letters A, B, C, D, and E, and F. You can kind of see that A is right here. That's representing what? The total cost for the rice. B is the unit price for the eggs. D is the subtotal, the value added tax. What is VAT again, everybody? That's called value added tax. Now, to me, I just tax. I just tax. Yeah. So there's nothing special about him really. It's just a type of tax. That's all. Yeah. Now, what does tax do to your money? So let's make sure we understand a couple things here. If you go to a grocery store, right, you're going to think of your bill as when you add up all the items cost. So say, for example, it came out to 1,000. But we know that when you reach to the register, there's going to be something called GCT or some sort of tax that is going to be a certain amount that is going to be added onto your bill, right? So that is what this value added tax represents also, okay? Right? Now, what would A be? I'm going to kind of leave it out here. What would A be? How would I calculate A? The total cost for the rice. So we bought 5 kilograms. Unit price means that each kilogram costs 95. So if you buy 1 kilogram, $95. If you buy 2 kilogram, how much do you think is that going to be? If you buy 3 kilogram, how much would that be? Yeah. So unit price is just saying for every kilogram, I'm going to be paying $95. That's all. Yeah. So then this person went and bought 5 kilograms. So to get A would equal to 5 kilograms times the unit price. That gives me, what is that? That looks like 490. I don't know what I'm ready to say. 525, 475, I think. Is it? Let me do the maths. I'm going to trust my maths right now. You know. 95 times 5. Yeah, 475. There you go. So A would equal to 475. Yeah? Okay. Now, let's go again. Ready, set, go. For eggs, 3 dozen is what I purchased. Now, each dozen costs a certain amount. Now, I know what the total of everything is. Yeah? So what you're learning here, total cost equals to your quantity times your unit price. Now, I don't like to give too much formula for everybody for kind of SWAT. I want to make sure you guys are understanding what you're doing. Yeah? So then here, quantity times unit price will give you your total cost. Yeah? So then if you are given the quantity, 3, replace him there. You don't know the unit price, I'm going to call him X, but you know the total cost is 450. We create an equation once again. So 3x equals to 450. We're going to divide by 3, divide by 3. So x would equal to whatever that answer would be. Okay? So then that would look like, 150. So then $150 will be what B is equal to. Yeah? Okay, hope that making a lot of sense. Let me know in the comments if it doesn't, right? Okay, then now we have a certain amount of cartons of milk, right? Each carton costs $250, and then we have a total cost of 1,000. Once again, quantity times unit price gives me total cost. I don't know the quantity, so I'm calling him a letter X. Unit price is 250. So this is X times 250 equals to 1,000, right? So once again, I'm creating equations. All right. Now, so this is 250X equals to 1,000. Yeah. Divide by 250. Divide by 250. You get that the number of cartons of milk that you purchase is 4. So C equals to 4 cartons. All right. There we go. Thank you. Awesome job, Shaniqua. There we go. Yeah. So this is an actual simulated type of thing that CXC gave in 1 year. So we want to make sure. So that now D, he's a subtotal. Subtotal just means I want the total. It's like saying you're going to the register. These are the costs for everything. What's the total that you're expecting? Yeah. So D would equal to 1,000 plus 450 plus 475. That looks like 1,925. I think. My math correct? Let me know. I think it is. All right. Okay. Then now we're going to do value added tax next. 8.5% value added tax. Yeah. So 8.5% value added tax. So then now can I zoom out? Right. So then to get the tax or VAT, remember here, people, percentage I forget apply to something. So 8.5% represents the value added tax. So 8.5% of the subtotal, or whatever total you got. Total, yeah? So then that's going to equal to, once again, you guys have to learn how to convert these things quickly, yeah? So if I wanted to do this, I'm going to put 8.5 over 100. I'm dividing by 2 zeros. So I'm going to move my decimal place 2 times. So that's going to equal to 0.085. Now, I'm going to have 0.085 times the subtotal of 1925. And that's going to give me how much tax I'm going to add on to my bill. Yeah? So then 0.085 times, what did I just say? 1925? Yeah, 1925. There we go. Yeah? That gives me $163. And I think it was 63 cents. 6.25. All right. Yeah? So that's how much value added tax is going to be added. So remember here, percentage have to get applied to something. Just find out what is the thing, right? Obviously, tax are going to be taxable on the total, right? So then the total for F now would have been how much you got for D, which is 1925. And we carved out this the tax part, 163.625. Add them together, and that will give you what F would be. And we have completed the diagram. Yeah? So I hope that makes a lot of sense. Let me just add the 1925. All right, and welcome to value added tax. 2,088.625 will be the total there. All right. Okay, I am going to see. Let's jump back into the platform. All right. There's another one here that I'm going to kind of leave up on the screen for everybody to kind of just solve it. Yeah. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, so I'm going to pause real quick. Good job, Shaniqua. That is correct. Yeah, let's see if you can apply yourself here. We're going to get A, B, C, D, E, and F. Let's see if you can find it for this one here. All right. And then I will start back it shortly. So we're going to wind down after this. So we did higher purchase, we did simple interest, and then also we're doing value added tax. Let's see if you can do A, B, C, D, and E, E, and F. A to F. All right. Let's kind of see. Dun, 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 dun. There we go. All right, I think we can get started. All right, let's figure them out. A, I want the total cost for rice, 6 kilograms. Remember what I said, unit price is the price for each whatever it is in. So this is kilograms. So each kilogram is 125. Whatever this guy was, whatever this is dozen. So for each dozen eggs, that's what the unit price represents. What is this guy in terms of cartons? For each carton, it's going to cost 275, right? So let's make sure we understand that, yeah? So let's go. A will equal to, looks like it's going to be 6 kilograms. Each kilogram costs 125. So then the total will be 6 times 125, yeah? What is that? I don't want to do this in my head. Boom, 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 something with a 50. 750. I think it's 750. Check me, audit me. I don't know. Yeah. Then this total cost is 300. I had 2 dozens, right? Each dozen will cost 300 divided by 2, which gives me 150. So each dozen costs $150. $150 for the first dozen, $150 for the second dozen, so that the total would have been 300. Hope that make a lot of sense. Yeah. Good job, Shaniqua. Yeah. All right, let's go again. Let's go to cartons of milk. We have the total cartons of milk is this. We know that the unit price is $2.75. So then we're going to, in order to figure out how many, I don't know how many, right? I'm going to divide the total cost by the unit price. That's going to give me how much cartons that I purchased. Yeah. Now, that's $13.75. $13.75 divided by $2.75, I think it was. Yeah, 5 cartons. There we go. So C equals to 5. Yeah. All right, cool. Then now we need to add up. Let's get the subtotal. Subtotal will be $13.75 plus 300 plus 750. Yeah. Little note here. Go with things that are kind of easy. So 1375 plus 300 and 700 gives me 1,000, and I put back my 50 with it. 1,000 and 1,000 gives me 2,400 and don't know what it is. 25, I think it is. Check me, audit me. Yeah, 2,425, right? Okay. Value added tax. Let's go there. 11.5% value added tax. So my VAT, remember, percentage needs to be applied to a value. So 0.1125. Remember here, I'm doing this all in my head. You're supposed to be able to do it all in your head too. Throw it over 100. Then when you're dividing by 100, move your decimal place 2 times because there's 2 zeros to the left. That's how I get the 0.1125 if you're wondering where I got it from. Yeah? Percentage needs to get applied to something. So then I'm going to apply it to the total. So that's going to give me 2,425, right? So then now this is going to multiply with that. Do I have any tricks for that? Unfortunately, no. Push your calculator, right? 1,125 times, what was it again? 2,425. 2,425. All right, there we go. 272.8. 272.8125, I think it was. All right, I'm going to be very accurate right now. Okay, so then the total for F now would have been how much was the subtotal plus how much value added tax you're putting on there. Okay, and that is going to give you your complete answer. Yeah. All right. So 24. Someone add that to the 2,425. That's going to give me 2,697. 2,697.8125. That's going to be your total right there. All right. So hope everybody is following with me. So we have consumer arithmetic. We just did higher purchase. We just did simple interest. We just did value added tax. You know what I want you guys to do now? Jump in the platform, get busy and create your own worksheet and then go apply what you just learned. Yeah. Just easily, and just kind of give you a little demo here. Once again, you just go to new, you create what you want, what topic you want to do it under, consumer arithmetic. If you want to work on profit and loss, then you go there, level 3. Then you select another area again. Don't just select one. Make sure you select more than one so you're getting the most value, right? And then if you want depreciation, you go there, you go level 2. Then if you want consumer arithmetic again, what else is there? What else did I not do today? Discount and sale, right? We're going to do that, level 3, and then go and generate your worksheet and get busy, all right? Pleasure. I'll see you in class. And also, the link for the platform is in our description. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to share it with your friends. If you know that you're doing CXC and your friends are doing CXC and you find this valuable, just share it with your friends. I just want to help out as much people as I can. Let's go crush this exam. All right. Let me know if you have any questions. You can put it in the comments, or you can just message us at on Instagram at youractuarytutorja. All right. Later, everybody. Bye-bye.